everyone, good morning. Welcome to this first Prepare webinar to this Shaping Regional Innovation for Demand-Driven Approaches to Innovation Procurement. First of all, let's introduce myself. My name is Carlos Gonzalez, working as a project manager for TIC Biomed, the Prepare project coordinator. And let's talk a bit about Prepare. Prepare is a coordination and support action funded by Horizon Europe, and this Prepare is a one-year project that comprises 4 different regions. There are Oulu from Finland, Skåne from Sweden, the region of Murcia from Spain, and Bucharest-Ilfov from Romania. We have one representative from each of these regions, and I would like to tell them to introduce themselves. So, before the introduction, this is a webinar. We are going to have at the end of this session a question and answer session. All the microphones are going to be muted until it is time to talk. And as you all know, this webinar is being recorded and it's going to be updated to YouTube after the session. As well, we are in LinkedIn under the hashtag Prepare and Prepare for Innovation. So you can follow us and share with everyone what are you doing here within this Prepare webinar. Okay, I would like to give the floor to Rafael Atad from Murcia. Can you briefly introduce yourself, Rafael?
Thanks, Carlos. Yes, good morning, everyone. I am responsible for the European Innovative Actions and European funded projects here in the Regional Development Agency in the Murcia region. We were part of former EU funded projects concerning innovation procurement, and we are very pleased to join the partnership for Prepare.
Thank you, Rafael. And now it's time for Christian Ormiden, and sorry, Christian, because it was going to be your colleague Irina, but please, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, so my name is Christian Ormiden. I'm working for the Bucharest-Ilfov Regional Development Agency. I'm the coordinator of the Enterprise Europe Network Consortium within our region. Supported by our SME support office within the agency, and I'm here mainly because innovation it's a main topic within our activities, projects, and so on.
Okay, thank you, Christian. Now we are going to Sweden. Patrick, what can you tell us?
Yes, hi. My microphone is on. Great. My name is Patrick Göransson. I'm the head of the Innovation and Development Unit at Ängelholms Hospital. So I'm working on a hospital in the northwest of Skåne. And I'm representing the joint work here in Prepare from Sweden, where we at Ängelholms Hospital work together with our innovation company, Innovation Skåne.
Thank you, Patrick. And last but not least, Mikko.
Hello, my name is Mikko Väisänen from Council of Oulu region. I'm responsible of research, development and innovation in our region, and also we have just started a future scenario work with the Helsinki region, which we will have results on beginning of next year. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mikko. I would like to switch the order now, so I'm going to start with Mikko. The first question, Mikko, is what is the relevance of a governance framework for a successful procurement process?
Well, it's not easy to answer shortly because governance can be almost everything, but governance lays the foundation of procurement. And their interpretation, how they interpret the law on procurement is very important. And if the attitude is very open, they can promote more innovative procurement if they want. But if they don't want, it can be quite tight, and you have to follow the law exactly what it has been written. In fact, the law on procurement is quite permissive. So the law sort of encourages to make a market dialogue and more innovative ways to procurement. But sometimes the governance is quite negative to innovative procurement. But it depends on each governance. And of course, there can be individual cases which can grow to the new processes in the organization. So governance can be proactive or a little bit conservative. It depends on the governance. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Mikko. It seems that you are talking from the experience, so thank you so much for sharing this with us. I would like now to have a question to ask Christian, because I know, Christian, that you are so interested on semantic interoperability and how to share experience among the whole EU. So how relevant is semantic interoperability to standardize a process?
Oh, that's again, as Mikko said, is not a easy and short answer for this, at least not for me. Just a little bit of history. It started actually to be more vivid as a problem for me with this project and with the focus group we carried out within this project in the spring and early summer, where we heard over and over again about the fact that various actors of the innovation ecosystem, of the innovation procurement ecosystem, are concerned about the fact that the output is not satisfactory because one or another of these actors are not understanding things in the way in which the people which we interviewed are understanding the matter. So this comes again and again. Of course, it was not the wording semantic interoperability, which our interviews were using, but again and again this appeared, and just sometime just pop up the fact that okay, there is a real issue which is hampering the process, and then we start looking, and then we see okay, but this is an issue which is already dealt with in a standardized way, I would say. And I come to the question. So yes, we need these standards in order to coordinate and to make many people understand each other and work together to the same goal. And yes, this is what, in maybe a quite pretentious way, we can call it semantic interoperability. It's a way of understanding each other and working together for a common goal. So again, for doing this, we need standards, because otherwise it's everybody with its own way of understanding things. So yes, standardization is at the core for making things happen within the semantic interoperability. It affects everything from communication across stakeholders to integration, the various processes within the policy planning, implementation, ex-post assessment, and so on and so forth. The core of the ecosystem performance is affected or enhanced by the quality of the standards and by the way in which the standards are implemented and applied. And then it clearly it is clearly a factor to improve the policy planning and implementation at all levels of the public administration, including the performance for innovation procurement. I can speak a lot about this, but I will stop here. But at the end of the day, it's about the way in which we are discussing, communicating among each other, and this is clearly something which everybody agrees. It is the main factor of any human endeavor.
Thank you, Christian. And just as a reminder to our attendees, if someone is interested, just type your questions in the chat. Okay, now we go to Skåne, to Patrick. You mentioned that you were collaborating with this Ängelholm hospital. So which could be some relevant points to implement a co-creation procedure?
Yes, thank you. Well, for us, the co-creation procedure is very important. If we're going to do a project or a work like we have done here in Prepare, or if we look at doing innovation procurement to set up a process or a project like that, it leans really heavily on involving and engaging the relevant stakeholders from the very beginning. And in our Prepare work, we have done so by adopting the service design approach, I would say. And that approach really emphasizes on stakeholder involvement. So we've gone through involving stakeholders early on in formulating demands, goals, needs, what obstacles do we have, to together from that generate ideas and solutions that where we really need to co-develop. And then from those ideas, we can start testing together and kind of have this iterative process where the stakeholders are involved. We try out new things, we test new ideas, we go back, we don't sit by ourselves and work on it. So it's in this project, we built it into our action plans, both in kind of catching what Prepare is about, but also to lay the 3-year action plan ahead on how shall we continuously engage our stakeholders in this work.
Thank you, Patrick. It was so interesting, and I would like to link this answer to the following question. As you mentioned, obstacles. So in this sense, Rafael, what could be the main capacity gaps in terms of governance and process design?
Yeah, we have checked a number of them, not only within the umbrella of the Prepare project, but also our previous EU-funded projects dealing with co-creation and procurement of innovation. Yeah, we have checked and consulted our stakeholders, public bodies in the Murcia region, and we have checked that the majority of them evidences limited resources to be mobilized. The scarcity of human and financial resources is recognized as a significant obstacle in the Murcia region. Also, according to the experience of previous projects, we know that good experimentations concerning innovation procurement have been put in place, but there is a lack of final adoption at the end of the good solutions that we have identified. So many pilots successfully implemented, but at the end of the story, not finally adopted due to budgetary constraints or lack of political commitment in public bodies. So at the end, we need some path for continuation. And also we need to stimulate the interaction between the public challenger and the private solver in the form of preliminary consultation to market, or to enable sustainable co-creation between businesses and public body in time. That's why we need to enroll both public bodies and also business environment and private companies in order to have all the two sides of the coin identified. That's why we have created for the very first time in September this year in the Regional Development Agency a new unit, a new desk for stimulating innovation procurement in the Murcia region. And now we are receiving some expertise from reputed experts in Spain in order to build a solid place for providing guidance and path for development, not only for public bodies, but also for companies in the months to come.
First of all, Rafa, congratulations for the achievement, and thank you for your answer. I really seemed interesting that you were talking about the lack of adoption. It seems that there's a lack of engagement. So coming back to Skåne and talking about this engagement, what could be the main difficulties to keep these stakeholders or even policymakers, how to keep them engaged during this co-creation?
Yes, good point from Raphael, I would say. And I think the main reasons for difficulties to keep the engagement in a co-creative process is if we don't have a clearly experienced value for each stakeholder. Why should I be involved in this, and why should I stay involved? So we ask a lot of people in this project, or if we set up an innovation procurement project, we ask them to invest a lot of time and resources. So it has to be really clear. And if I should put it down to some objectives, it would be to together set clear objectives. Why are we doing this together, and why are we all involved in this? To have those objectives clear for each part. Why am I involved? Why should I be part of this project? And to provide early on a structured process, so you can see where are this heading? Is this heading this process? What are we working on? What is the end goals somewhere? So we know how are we going to do this together. The work process has to be clear. And also to continuously feedback where we are in the process. What have we achieved so far? What are the milestones? So you kind of get continuous feedback on your own engagement as a stakeholder in the process. And at the same time, to not lose the long-term perspective and thoughts about sustainability. What will come in that end? Are we getting closer to the direction we've set together?
Oh, thank you, Patrick, for all this. We can call them tips, or we can call them some kind of guidelines to keep them engaged. So in this sense, I would like to ask also Mikko about this influence, how this potential guidelines or tips can influence legal frameworks towards more engagement and collaboration.
Yeah, first of all, the legislation is not easy to influence by each organization. So the collaboration is key to go on forward. But I have to say that before Prepare, there was not much of collaboration of procurement or innovative procurement. So this has started this discussion. But I would say that the collaboration between organizations is most fruitful when we are talking about active people who are making the procurement. So it's not easy to collaborate with a higher level.
At the end, please, Mikko, follow.
And it's different thing about collaboration and engagement. So I would say that it's the really high time to make engagement with the private sector. The collaboration between organization in public sector has started and will start partly because of Prepare. But collaboration between public and private sector it's not so easy because they are in the different parts of the process. But the engagement is a different thing. So, but I think that the Prepare has done a really good work to promote this.
So although it is not an easy task, we can say that Prepare was so useful as a starting point.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And when we started this, we noticed that there's so many black holes which we can go through with discussion and meeting each other.
So in this sense that we are talking about how to reach communications or even how to perform this networking, I would like to ask to Rafael that as you're living in such a region, uniprovincial region as the region of Murcia, how this awareness raising can improve the networking or the communication within the region of Murcia.
Yes, this is 1.5 million inhabitants in the Mediterranean, south of Spain. And well, it's easy that everyone meets each other and knows each other when dealing with public purposes. And that's why we have undertaken in the framework of Prepare in April and May this year, networking activity in order to get everyone identified. So to know who is who in public procurement here in the Murcia region. We have knocked on the door to any single public body with some expertise in public procurement by presenting also that further public procurement, there is innovation procurement, which is some further step ahead. And we have we have promoted some raised awareness for that purpose, and we have tried to attract the interest in order to become players in a new environment. That's why we have identified some 25, 30 public bodies eventually interested in becoming players for innovation procurement. And we are playing in parallel to a new exercise here in the Murcia region. The regional government is willing to identify who is who, not in innovation procurement, but in public procurement. There are some sort of key issues, electronic tendering, social procurement, green procurement, innovation procurement, and we are playing the role for this fourth pillar, innovation procurement. And all the two exercises, the one from info with respect to innovation procurement and the overall panorama with respect to public procurement, have put the emphasis on the need to network in all the public servants and public bodies. That's why we have produced a guide in order to stimulate, help, support all the public players with respect to specifically innovation procurement and how they can become beginners and players for the first time in this sort of activity in order to stimulate raising awareness and also training further components and also to enlarge the participation of newcomers from the public administration in the Murcia region in this innovation procurement scheme.
Thank you so much, Rafael, for telling us about the different activities being performed in the region of Murcia. I would like to now address this question to a bigger region. So, Christian from Bucharest-Ilfov, how can bigger regions establish standards or how to ensure this data sharing across different public sector platforms? How do you foster collaboration in this sense?
Well, yes, you touched exactly the core of the issue. I mean, establishing standards, following standards, using standards as references for the activities at all level, starting with the administration, public administration, from the central public administration to the level of the enterprises, where innovation is at heart and where we can find the efforts of delivering new product services or business processes. Thankfully, it's fine that we are not in a vacuum here. So we are not in a position to start everything from scratch in this field. There is a body of knowledge in the field of standardization, which is available, at least at European level. when we're speaking about innovation, we have the technical standards 16555, which we already used within this project as a reference for our investigation of the stakeholder opinions through interviews and focus groups. From here, we moved a little bit to try to frame the whole problem, the whole issue of interoperability. So again, we have a reference here, although I recognize it's not an easy to cope with. I mean, the European interoperability framework, because it's holistic, it covers actually everything related to public administration, not only this limited domain. So yes, it is huge. It's complicated. It covers information go to the technical implementation of the actions planned for delivering the outputs and outcomes of any project. So again, here we have a standard. This framework actually tries to standardize the interoperability, and it's using other standards, which I already just mentioned a little bit now, like Archimate for modeling any organization or enterprise, or TOGAF, which is dealing with the organizational transformation, whether it is public administration or enterprise, covering everything from, as I said, from the objective to the technical implementation level, IT support, and so on and so forth. But again, it is not a problem of IT when dealing with standardization. It's a problem again of coordinating the terms, the concepts, the vocabularies we are using. So here again, it's in our hand to define and agree on the common terms we are using in order to understand each other, to build tools and hubs in order to coordinate many people, many actors which are involved in this and should somehow work together, to ensure also cross-border cooperation and internationalization and success also when we are dealing with development and funding opportunities, including Horizon Europe. It is my personal belief that our performance here is hampered by the fact that we are still not, in my opinion, interoperable at semantic level with the principal values, missions, outcomes, outputs, and so on and so forth of the EU funding opportunities. Again, this is a very long discussion, but I just try to touch a little bit some key issues in my opinion.
Thank you, Christian. You were talking about common tools, common vocabulary, but you were also mentioning like different private companies or the regional administration. So in this sense, I would like to ask Patrick, how difficult is to align all these different participant or ecosystem actors towards a regional strategy?
Oh yes, thank you for that question. Yeah, it can be quite difficult to align all these stakeholders to work in the same direction. And we have to remember that each involved stakeholder can have their own perspective and even their own agenda going into this process. So I think for us, it's much about to have a continuous effort to facilitate this process and to kind of grasp or formulate the common value and main objectives. So we get people to align with them at least, and then you can align the work in the next step. And also for us, it's been a journey kind of to kind of request this mandate that we are actually doing this for the whole region. We have to be a part of actually formulating new policy, new strategy for the region, because it's been lacking. We don't have very well formulated strategy when it comes to innovation and innovation procurement, at least not one that is really part of our ecosystem, I would say. Yeah, I think that kind of answers the question. It's much about the facilitating, and at the same time to formulate and to build up a mandate and to give this grouping that kind of mandate.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. It seems that to have this common alignment, it's key to have this regional strategy. So, in this sense, I would like to ask Mikko, what strategies could help these different organizations, private or public, to evaluate their readiness, their capacity for innovation procurement?
Yeah, I could turn this question upside down. How can we say that they are not competent? So I would say that if the processes and the documents and the training is not updated lately, so then they don't have this capacities to promote this procurement. So they have to be updated because environment changes, things change. So I would say that at least every year they have to be updated and constant training. But this is just a background or the basis. The real test is when the procurement is made. So I have been involved at least in 3 expert services procurement during the last month. So if we stress too much on expense and past references, so it can't be so innovative. But it's not easy to build this capacity because it's behind every individual is doing this in the last mile. So, but you have to have the processes and documents. But the real test is how you really make each procurement.
Thank you, Mikko, and it was a very interesting answer. In this sense, I would like now to address it to the region of Murcia, as Rafael has been previously explaining all the different activities concerning this guideline, the new unit of innovation procurement. I would like to ask Rafael, do you expect to develop some specific training resources for the regional administration?
Yes, as soon as the regional players are identified and we are making some sort of networking with them at a very regional level, it's time to market the same or the most important ideas in order to foster this field of activity and to get them engaged and committed with this line of action. That's why we are, as mentioned before, the guide for innovation procurement will serve as a very useful tool for them in order to prepare, document, and search and find responses for the questions that they will surely appear as they are managing innovation procurement dossiers or notices. And that's why we are launching a sort of raise awareness plus a training component in the course of December. We will start next week, next Monday, 2nd December, with raising awareness for top managers. So very reputed people, top of the hierarchy in the Murcia region administration, in all the fields of activity, thematic fields of activity, in order to get them physically seated in one room, in order to launch this debate, these arguments, in order to persuade, stimulate them, get them convinced in a positive style with them. This will be followed by, let's say, more technical training component, not for high people, but for practitioners, head of departments, legal staff, innovation staff, managers of technical issues, in order them to know more about the real components of innovation procurement. And this will be held on 11th of December. With that, we will keep a continuation in the first months of 2025, that we will also stimulate and we will enlarge to the business environment, not only to public players, but also a training component for service providers and managers of technologies solutions that can be also the other side of the coin, in order to keep them informed, stimulated, and become players of this double approach management system, public and private. That will have continuation over the first months of 2025.
Oh, it sounds great, Rafael. Thank you so much. And now to close like this alignment issue questions, I would like to ask Christian, how to align your regional innovation strategy with your national and European one?
Well, I think we have the tool for doing this. I mean, the intellectual, the conceptual working instruments for doing this. But again, we have to use the standards, the tool, and also we have to deal with the complexity. Because what we've been seeing during the past years, it's an increased complexity at all level of the policy or phase of the policy planning and implementation processes. So it is complex, it is lengthy, it is quite error prone if we are not using some tools in order to keep up with all these difficult conditions. And to get to exactly to the point, it has somehow to deal with all the levels, from the motivation levels to the implementation levels, which are mentioned within the European interoperability framework. It's not easy to pass. So starting with the motivation, with the vision, with the goals, going then to the outcomes, to the processes we need to implement or change or better describe or better support with IT tools and so on, to the level of the infrastructure we need to implement this, in order to first align the strategies, in order to engage the stakeholders, which somehow has to be must be involved in this process, otherwise it's pointless. And in order to use all the opportunities of supporting, including financially, these activities, which are available at the regional, national, and also EU level. We are actually now taking advantage of such an opportunity within this project. So it is clear that this is useful, this is timely, and just at least for my side, it enhanced our performance when dealing with the innovation-related policy issues.
Thank you, Christian. Okay, I think we are quite on time, and before going to our attendees' questions, I would like to have a last question for each of you. I just want to have like 3 main insights from the topic of the question. So I would like to start with Rafael. Rafael, can you provide the 3 main insights on capacity building?
Yes, due to the complexity that Christian has underlined seconds ago, there is a real need from public players in the multi-region to have a permanent level of support. So they need for stable support from the region. That's why we have created in the regional development agency a permanent unit in order to stimulate the participation of both private sector and public servants in these tenders and concerning innovation procurement. We will do raising awareness actions, training, but it's important for them that we are existing and we are also playing in parallel to the regional unit, the regional government who is responsible for this stimulation for public procurement in the multi-region. We have to also check that there is a sort of misalignment of timing between technological innovation and researches and public procurement processes. So technology moves very quickly, very fast, and public procurement needs time. It's a very silent and slowly movement scheme. So probably we need to be less ambitious in definition of core activities and need to leave time for real co-creation between challenger and solver. And also we need to have good access for funding in order to stimulate IP tenders, innovation procurement tenders. So any public body willing to launch public procurement and more precisely innovation procurement tenders need to have allocation of budget well before launching the tender dossier. This will guarantees that there will be substantial access to funding over the time slot, and also we need to explore some ERDF funding availability in order to allocate funds for manageable projects and projects easy to be handled in an appropriate way in the current programming period. All these three topics have been mentioned a number of times from the public and also private sectors, and we are trying now to launch our activity in order to guarantee that support in these three lines will be enabled to players in the multi-region.
Thank you, Rafael. I completely agree with you. And now I want to ask Patrick, can you provide three main insights on co-creation processes?
Yes, three insights. Well, okay. First and foremost, I must say it's co-creation. It's much more fun and rewarding to do that kind of work, even if it will take a long time maybe, and you will have to put in a bit more resources. It can get messy because not everybody, but more stakeholders are involved and have to have their saying in the process and actually participate. And secondly, I think the value becomes more clear and real to everybody involved. Why are we doing this? What is the end point? Even if it has to be adjusted and redefined along the way, that's kind of part of the iterative process, and co-creation is always an iterative process, I would say. And thirdly, you have to realize that it might take you in a completely different route to a new endpoint, but you actually are working with the challenges and gaps that are real and that really needs to be worked on. So it's my clear recommendation from these insights to actually really work in this co-creative process.
Thank you so much, Patrick. It was so interesting. It is a pity not to be able to dig in depth into this subject, but I would like to go now with Christian. Can you provide the three main insights on semantic interoperability?
Well, Carlos, at least I can try. So first, let's speak the same language, even if this means that we have to learn somehow new terms for things we already use and need. Definitions, frameworks, glossaries, taxonomies, ontologies. Maybe not all of these terms are widely used, but somehow we have to take advantage of these rather new developments in terms of speaking the same language, aligning the conceptual meaning, the semantics of the words we're using. Second, building on this, try to break the silos in which we are operating at many levels, from the local levels to EU level. So first, if we can speak all the same language, then we can try to break the silos. And if we can achieve some sort of success in this respect, then move to coordinating and trying to break the fragmentation at policy level, which and implementation level, which is clearly still manifesting from the regional to the EU level. So these are the three which, in my opinion, can bring a virtuous circle for everybody in terms of regional, national, and EU performance, and ultimately our lives.
Thank you so much, Christian. And again, last but not least, Mikko, can you provide three main insights on legal frameworks?
Maybe I repeat myself, but this legal framework designs the limits of the process. So and it allows much more things to do as usually considered. And you should see it, the legal framework as a support for your actions, and the real work is done before the tender, and the innovativeness is from you, not from the legal framework, and it's not the obstacle for the innovative procurement.
Thank you, Mikko. Now we are moving to the questions from our attendees. We have one question from you, Mikko. It says that it is never easy to approach legal issues. How would you approach legal responsibles within the region?
Well, we have asked the experts how they see each case, and ask help and ask another opinion. So I think that every issue is solved by that. And as said, and you have to get a training and read the law. So I think that everything will be solved by that. That is what our organization has done. And also we have done with the other organizations in the region. I understand that it can be quite frightening at the first, but go to the core, and it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Thank you so much, Mikko. We have another question for Rafael, who says, who are the specific target groups for the training to be performed in Murcia?
As mentioned before, we will link our activity to the, let's say, topic hierarchy in the region. Any top manager of the public administration in the Murcia region will be there. And the same for the technicians and the labor force and legal and technical and innovation staff of the public bodies in the Murcia region, included universities, the main municipalities, and so on, will be cordially invited to attend the second event by mid-December. As soon as we launch the message for the very first time in the Murcia region concerning the need and the interest of innovation procurement, We will collect some evidences on how to proceed in time, and then we will continue our activity with raising awareness or training components for businesses, the other side of the coin, and further training, more deep training for regional public practitioners in the Murcia region in the first months of next year.
Thank you, Rafael. I think it is clear, but if it's not, please let us know in the comments. We have another question for Patrick, I guess, who says, it seems that the co-creation process is a live process. So how to properly plan it?
Do you mean it's alive? It's ongoing?
Yes, I mean it's ongoing the process.
Oh yeah, how to prepare it. Someone said a lot of the innovation is made before the tender is released. So that's to start early, to involve stakeholders and plan. We have to kind of do this formulation. We have to set the goals. We had to pre-design before even going into maybe the real procurement and the oncoming tender. And I think you have to set a plan for what can you do, because in some parts where you're kind of restricted by the legal framework, you're not allowed to be too open and show people outside the actual procurement project what are being formulated, because some stakeholder might get their hands on it early and then others and have an advantage. So you have to kind of set the different steps and do the pre-work, I would say, with setting up a good co-creation process. So when you connect it to procurement, you have to see like the different steps. Did that answer the question? Maybe?
I think so, Patrick. Thank you so much. And we have a last question for Christian. The question, Christian, is how are the profits or the benefits of semantics interoperability in regards to the EU funding? I'm not sure if you understand the question.
Well, at least I have an idea about,
okay. If not,
some sort of an answer. So yes, there are many levels in terms of EU funding, but I'll just focus for the sake of this answer on only one level with some examples, with at least an examples about the interoperability problems which we are experienced here in our region with the companies which are trying to apply for opportunities such as the European Innovation Council opportunities. I'm speaking mainly about the European Innovation AIC Accelerator opportunities and so on and so on. So we are clearly evidencing seeing the fact that, simply put it, using words in a different manner with meaning something a little bit different from what the evaluators in Brussels are understanding when they are reading our project documents, is clearly a factor for our underperformance. Okay, there are many factors, things are more complicated than this, but this is something which we can isolate and we can see it in our projects and in the evaluation reports of the Horizon evaluators, which are dealing with our project proposals. So this is one level, one clear example where we are missing the semantic interoperability necessary in order to take advantage of these opportunities. and this is costing us money.
Mm.
Pure and simple.
No, thank you, Krista. I'm completely agree with you in this point as well. Okay, it seems there are no more questions. Anyway, you can contact us through our website prepareforinovation.eu or even in our LinkedIn page. I think there is nothing else from our side, just to have this farewell and say thank you to you all, both the panelists, the speakers, and the attendees. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.